Hey, everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to this special broadcast. As you can see, I'm in my Friday garb, but I'm doing a special broadcast of a video for a podcast that I did, and I want to make sure that you guys can hear it. So if anybody is with me live, go ahead and put something in the chat window, and that would be on LinkedIn. I'll go double check on Facebook to see that I can see your stuff too. So bear with me because this is a experiment for me. This is brand new. Now I normally do a LinkedIn Live Saturday mornings called Bacon and Coffee. And that's where I have my interview show. But this one is actually a pre-taped interview that I did. And it's with somebody who I think you're really going to enjoy. So I'm going to jump to Facebook here and see if I can see any comments. Because I need to test this. This is relatively new for me. That's one of the things about, doing these LinkedIn lives. I mean, I'm learning all the time as to what works and what doesn't. So hopefully, you can hear me, and I just have to enter a code here because Facebook is being a poopy pants. And I will jump to that. So anyways, I hope you are doing good and that you are enjoying your day. And I'm going to go ahead and do that there and see if I can get that code. I got to get a code generator. Bear with me, guys. It's always fun when you do these things live. You know what I mean? So here it came up. We're all good there. Okay. So let me go see if my LinkedIn Live is working. And it will jump to me there. And so I'm assuming you can hear me and you can see me okay. And there we go. There's my live. And yeah, so if you're seeing me and hearing me, you can put a comment in Facebook or LinkedIn. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit play on this and just see if the audio is coming through. I think it is, but we won't know. So let's see. So I'm assuming if you could hear it, let me know. And I just played a little bit of music there. So if you're on Facebook or if you're on LinkedIn, you can go ahead and type in, hey, I heard that or I didn't. That'll at least let me know because I wouldn't want to play a long interview where you could not hear anything. So do me a favor and give me there it goes. Hey, audio is good. So you could hear that music, right? Okay. So thank you, Doreen. I appreciate it. So let me kind of set the stage on this. So the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because I got a chance to interview the gentleman. His name is DC Glenn. He's actually part of the musical group Tag Team, which I'm sure you've heard of. But Tag Team did the song Whoop, There It Is. And he also did the latest GEIKO commercial called Scoop, There It Is, which he does talk about in the interview. And I got a notice saying, hey, he's available for an interview. So I wanted to make sure I didn't want to do a LinkedIn Live and not have the guy show up or have the technology problems and trying all this stuff with somebody who is, of that ilk. So I pre-recorded it and I figured I would take it and I would show it to you guys. So you get to see the video, you get to hear him talk, you get to hear my interview of him. But the reason I think this is important is because he really talks about business lessons. Now, we've all heard of one-hit wonders, right? You've heard of Billy Don't Be a Hero and Seasons in the Sun. And, there's tons of one-hit wonders out there. And usually these bands come and go like a flash in the pan. These guys have sustained themselves for years. And the way that they've done it is he's reinvented himself. And the story of how he's gone through that process and what he's learned about marketing, what he's learned about business. There are so many great lessons in this that I really thought it was worth sharing. And that's why I wanted to immortalize it, not only on my podcast, but to share the video with you guys, both on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and shut my mouth and I'm going to turn on his video for you and I will start it from scratch and off we roll. And then I'll come back. I'll be monitoring questions on both places. So at the end, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Unfortunately, I could not get him live because he is so busy doing other interviews. There's no way it would happen. So I'm going to do this and do me a favor. If you hear the audio and everything's cool, just type in, yep, sounds great. That way I know if everything's working fine. So thank you, Doreen, for showing up live. And here we go. All right, so you lost the audio. Let's see. So you lost the audio, Doreen. So let me try something different here. Let me see if I play it through the speakers, if you guys can hear it. So I'm going to do the same thing one more time, and we will start again. Let's do, bear with me one sec here. Well, I make a quick change to one thing, and there we go. And save. So let me change the audio. I'm going to change it to my speakers and see if that works. And let's see. So I'm going to do it one more time, and let's see if you can hear the audio this time, and we will replay it one more time. And so I'm going to go ahead and rewind this. And I'm just going to play a little bit. And Doreen, if you would be kind enough to tell me that you could hear this.
When it comes to heating up your business, it's all about making more.
Yep, that sounded good.
With a particular set of skills, you need a baconologist. Building authentic connections, online networking.
Okay, that's not sounding too good.
Mindset and training. That's bacon. Get ready, because we're about to fry up a sizzling success strategy. This is the Bacon Podcast with your host and business baconologist, Brian Basilico.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to turn it up, and I'm going to start one more time, just a little bit, and I'm going to let her roll. So here we go. Put the screen back on, and let's see if you lost the audio this time.
When it comes to heating up your business, it's all about making more bacon, and that requires an expert with a particular set of skills. You need a baconologist. Building authentic connections, online networking, through social selling, relationship marketing, mindset and training. Yeah, that's bacon. Get ready, because we're about to fry up a sizzling success strategy. This is the Bacon Podcast with your host and business baconologist, Brian Basilico. It's a lot of bees, man.
Hey peeps, I have an amazing guest. He is coming to us from Atlanta. His name is DC Glenn, and he is part of Tag Team, and you know them not only from their great song, Whoop, There It Is, but the latest GEIKO commercial, Scoop, There It Is. Man, I got to tell you, so many people love that commercial. It is amazing. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful. I really am.
Outstanding. So I want to talk to you about music and marketing and basically how you got to where you're at right now. So, but you were born in Chicago. You kind of got your musical chops, it sounds like, when you were in Colorado, and then you really kind of took off when you were down in Atlanta, right? So that's kind of the scope of what you did. So come tell us about that story.
Well, born in Chicago, moved to Denver when I was about 4. Grew up, played trumpet, took piano lessons like most kids. Got to do something. But when I got to high school, I met Steve, and he had a band. And I was like, I got to be in that band. And I worked in the truant office, and down the hall was Dr. Joyce Davis, who directed the choir at Manual High School, Bold Vibration. I was like, I got to be in that choir. In our first high school dance, Steve's friends, Ricky Springs and a couple of his friends, DJ'd the party. And I was like, oh yeah, I got to be a DJ. This is the first time I was exposed to all these in a different form, because I went to Catholic school and I transferred my 11th grade year. And that I took on all of those. And I got in the band, got in the choir, and got 2 rickety turntables and a Radio Shack mixer, and I was a DJ.
Yeah.
Right? And, we did shows, we traveled all over the place in the city, and I kind of became the leader, getting the shows, making sure we practiced, had a place for us to practice, and just practicing DJing. Then I graduated high school, went to college, and started DJing for all the frat parties. The first one I did, it was just horrible. I just thought I was the man, but the speakers blew, I was drinking, and the wrong turntable off, and then the cues were about to beat me up. It was just like ugly. And I could have gave up, but I didn't. Right. And I just kept chugging along. And our band had disbanded, and there was 3 of us left. And then one, Otis P, went to the Army. Then it was me and Steve. And then I had to take on the writing duty. So I started writing, I would be in class and write. And we started making songs. And every time I would come home for breaks, we'd go to the studio. But then my boy Johnny Z got a 4-track, Tascam 4-track.
I remember the cassette version or the
version, the original Tascam 4-track.
I had one too.
Yeah, my boy was like, I don't even know how to use this thing. I was like, I'll figure it out. And my other partner had a TR-808 Roland, right? Mm-hmm. That was the essential sound of hip hop at the beginning, late 80s, early 90s. And I made about 10 beats and then just started putting stuff over them. It was straight caveman. Mm-hmm. And I sent it to Steve, and he thought I was in the devil worship because he didn't understand. Because I'm beatboxing, I'm singing, I'm doing all kind of stuff, right, just to finish songs. And it piqued his curiosity, then he bought one. And now we're going back and forth, sending mixtapes back to each other, and we're getting better at it. And then I go to Atlanta, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm moving down here, because he was down there going to the Art Institute. So I pack up, go to Atlanta, start working at a club called Magic City. It's an adult entertainment club. So I'm just blown away as a young man that I'm working with 150 beautiful women and I'm the head DJ. Mm-hmm. Right? So we would make songs and we would test our songs in the club. And I knew that being in the Southeast, there was Southern bass, right? But then you had Miami bass, which was Florida's bass. And I knew we couldn't get out of Southeast unless we did bass. And I went to Steve, I said, hey man, we gotta make something, we gotta make some bass. He's like, I can't make that stuff, man. I was like, don't think that. Think Planet Rock and Egyptian Lover. Mm-hmm. Just want it to be up tempo and BPMs. Do it however you want to do it. Just make it up tempo. Because since we're down here, it'll be considered bass.
So right? What is Southern bass and Miami bass? What's the difference between
Miami bass is Luke Skywalker, everything, Luke Skywalker and that type of music, right? Mm-hmm. Raunchy, real crazy stuff. Southern bass is a little more tame, like songs like My Boo, Daisy Dukes by Deuce, records like that. So it's a little bit more tame than it is down south. But it's all the essence of all of it is Planet Rock, mm-hmm. right? Which is, one of the beginning songs in hip hop. And all you gotta do is make it up tempo, because LA had their form, which was Dr. Dre started out making up tempo music, right? So mm-hmm. we made the beat, Steve, we used the sample, Kano. This goes back to Kraftwerk and all those, the electronica stuff, right? So it's all kind of the same, it's up tempo. And I had tons of rhyme books and I was trying to match lyrics to the song. And I was working on this one called Whoop There It Is, which is basically like a party saying, throw your hands in the air, wave them like you just don't care. Mm-hmm. And mashed it up. And everybody thinks Whoop There It Is was this Manhattan project, science project, with theorems and geometry and whiteboards. And it was just nothing but a song of young dudes partying on a Friday night, right? Mm-hmm. And we made the song, went to work, had a cassette, popped the cassette in. And to this day, it's the biggest response on any record I've ever played, and I've been DJing for 30 years. And my hubris couldn't see what it was, because I think every song I make is a hit record, right? So I kind of shelved it. And later on, this is 92, August of 92. And then I started playing again in January of 93. And the second time I played, same response, right? Because I hadn't played it in a while. And then one of the record company reps, because every region had record company reps. So you had New York, you had LA, they had reps everywhere. They sent them there.
Chicago too, man. I remember
Chicago, and then you get your vinyl, or they service the record pools, they service the radio stations. And one of my guys, Alan Cole from Columbia Records, he's like, what is that? I was like, that's my new record. He's like, give me that, man, so I can send that. What are you doing? What are you still doing here? Send me that so I can send it to New York. Send it to New York. New York called me. And I was like, this works with every label. All the labels are talking to me, but they don't know what to do with Southern bass. Mm-hmm. It's a relatively new form, and they don't really, all they know is Luke. And they know they don't want to do nothing with Luke because it's just all dirty. So I kind of got frustrated. And a young lady named Lisa McCall worked at Mercury Records. So you need to call Al Bell, because he put out the Daisy Dukes record the year before by Deuce, and it went gold. and they were from Long Beach. So I was like, that's incredible. And for those who don't know who Al Bell is, excuse me, he's one of the original, forefathers of soul music because he owns Stax Records, and they were in competition with Philly International and Motown. Those are the original three Southern, the original three record companies, soul record companies. So I called him and said, Mr. Bell, I want to talk to you. I got a hit record. And he called me about a week and a half. And he was like, what's up, brother? And I was like, Mr. Bell, let me tell you something. I got a hit record. I've tested it. I'm in the hottest clubs in the country. Everybody loves this record. You need to sign us and don't play, right? And he's like, okay. And I was like, what? And to this day, these are the most beautiful words I've ever heard in my life. He's like, brother, I was like, you haven't even heard it, Mr. Bell. He's like, brother, I don't have to hear it. I hear it in your spirit. Let's agree to agree and get this thing going. I was like, cool. And then I gave my 2 weeks in Magic City, signed a messed up record contract. A month and a half was platinum.
Always, man. The music business is one of the craziest.
And everybody does it. That's why I'm not really, and I had to, because I didn't want to wait anymore. I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to deal with it later. Because I had people tell me, you might not, you might want to wait for Columbia. I was like, we would have lost the record if we had waited for Columbia, right? I need to get that record out now. And we did. Like I said, a month and a half, we were platinum, and we hadn't looked back for 4 years. And how it kind of went awry is that the record company went bankrupt. And then when the record company went bankrupt, another record company bought it out of bankruptcy. And then the battle ensued. Publishing when they shouldn't have took the publishing. So that was the battle. And I'm thinking that we own the publishing. So I'm trying to figure out how come we not getting paid. But what I did with my fatal flaw was to sign administration over. When I signed administration over, now they can recoup and they can bleed me for years, because that is the key. If I hadn't signed administration, I'd be able to get everything I needed, but we still got money, right? Still got the other side of publishing. And I try to explain this to the young cats. I'm like, nothing matters but the music publishing. And they like, I want to be a star. And I'm like, dude, nothing matters but the music publishing. And that's what I try to teach them. And so I really could have been like bitter about it, right? But I knew I would have my day in court. And I knew that I wasn't going to spend a bunch of money because I had already done that. That's why I had to go back to DJing. So I started a self-improvement juggernaut that has lasted to the day. And I started, with finance. Well, actually, I started being a paralegal. I said, I'm going to get all the discovery. I'm going to get everything I need. And have it organized, all the paperwork. So when we do have our day in court, I can just give it to the lawyers. They don't have to do too much research. And if they do decide, well, you might not know, you'll realize that I'm real meticulous and I've got everything, right? And that's what I did. And then I didn't worry about it. And then I became a licensed commodities broker, still while DJing, right? And learned about finance. And then I wanted to have a hedge fund. I don't know nothing about a hedge fund. But then I started developing tactics to learn things, right? So because I am me, I started calling people, hedge fund managers, like, hey, I got a hedge fund. I'm DC from Tag Team. Whoop, there it is. I can get you Dominique Wilkins. I can get you Primetime. I can get you Stars. I can get you everybody. I'm going to be managing so much money. I want to have a meeting. And they were like, heck yeah, we can have a meeting. So I go to New York, Vegas, LA, San Francisco. Now I'm in the boardroom with these people. And I'm like, why should I let you guys run my company? Why should I let you manage this money? And I don't know nothing about a hedge fund. And they just start, well, DC, we can do this and this and this and this and that and that and this and that and this. What they don't realize is that while they're pitching me, they're teaching me. That's my main tactic. Can
I tell you a secret? Can I tell you a secret? The whole reason I do this podcast is because I get to talk to people like you and learn. And that's one of the coolest things, man, is going in and just listening. That's awesome.
And I've realized that a hedge fund wasn't for me, right? It's basically intellectual gambling. I'm horrible at it. I hate gambling. So, but I did get a financial education about it, because 2000, I didn't know what I was looking at when I looked at CNBC, but 2 years later, I did. You know what I'm saying? And then, I went to an Edward Jones just on happenstance one day, met a beautiful lady, and she explained what we can do. That's simple. She said, we're going to fill up these little buckets. They're going to be in the forms of SEP IRAs for your corporation. Then you got your Roths and regular IRAs, and we can do mutual funds, ET. We can do all kind of, just fill up these little buckets. You're going to take $500 a month, take a piece off a little bit, and just fill the buckets up. And once the buckets are filled, we do it again, and again, and again, year after year. And that's what happened. And I'm still happy. I'm still happy that I did that, right? Because, financial crisis happened. And there are things that are happening in life where you need that. It's not really a rainy day, but it's there and it's growing. So if you need to pull something from it, you can. You pay the penalty, of course, but you pull it. You got it there because you're not even thinking about that as being pulled away. That's one lesson of finance. So the next thing, I get on this self-help kick, and there's this one book about a guy who owned a pie shop. And he's like, I want to own a pie shop, but I got to go work at a pie shop. So he started at the pie shop as the busboy. Then he came up and through the ranks and everything and learned how the whole system worked. Then he quit, and then he opened his own pie shop, franchised it, then sold it, and got $30 million for it. And in the corridor, right? So that's what I did while I was DJing at the club I was at. It was a real lucrative club, but I had to make myself, my legacy as a DJ is that I wasn't just a DJ. I'm your DJ, I'm your sound guy, I'm your light guy. I do your TV ads, I do your radio ads, I do your pictures, I do your flyers, I do everything. And in return, you pay me a lot of money, 7 streams of income, health insurance, and life insurance policy, because I made myself invaluable. Right? You lose me, you're gonna hurt, right? Because you're gonna have to hire 7 people to do what I do. And that's how I always live my life. So while I'm in the corridor, like Dude said, I said, let me make a business plan to become marketing for this club. And that's what I did. I thought business plan, you just write it down and be like, this is my business plan. No. Business plan. I was like, this is the hardest thing I ever had to do, but I did it. Then I bought a projector and did a PowerPoint presentation in front of the boss. And then she cut me a check for 25 G's and said, get started. Just because I just took it upon myself to think differently, and the things that I could apply to my life, I did, right? So, and about this time, I'm sitting in a movie theater, and I realized that Won't There Is now evergreen because I'm looking at Will Ferrell dance on a table to my song in Elf. And I'm like, now it's up to you to make your own money. So that's why I'm going through all these things, so I can learn how to do these things for myself. And my concept is learn how to learn. It's not good enough just to learn. You have to learn how to learn. Perfect example, if I get a long email, after the first 2 lines, I'm daydreaming. I'm like, I don't even get what I'm supposed to get out of it. I stop reading it. It might take me 4 days to read that long email. If I throw it in the AI and it reads it to me, not continue to keep looking at emails. Now it's reading it to me, and then I pick something up. Wait a minute. Now I'm reading along with the AI that's reading to me. Now I'm regaining way more retention. I do that with everything. I'll do that with scripts for acting. I'll do that with voiceover scripts. Just let it go over and over and over again and start daydreaming and getting ideas. And then by the time 2-3 times, I know exactly what the story is. I have 3 different concepts of what I want to do for that script, right? Learn how to learn. And, I was like 2008, 2009, I said, I gotta think outside of being in this club because I'm stuck because it's so lucrative and I'm complacent. But I'm like, well, be in the corridor again. What are you doing that you could be better at? Voiceover. So I start flying to New York, flying to LA, coming back to work so I could be better at radio ads and TV ads. So maybe I could start a company doing media, right? Or just to get good at it. And it was difficult. I thought it was the coaches that, weren't teaching me right because my hubris is so out of control. I think I could whoop there it is my way through anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
I'm like, and it was a struggle. It was a big struggle. And while this is going on, the court date for the battle starts because from 1998 all the way to 2010, it was motion after motion after motion after motion to get the lawsuit in a venue. but they kept just killing those motions, right? We don't want that motion. No, keep it. No. And like, I think it was like the 50th motion, they finally got their day in court. So now it was time for those two juggernauts to fight. And I'm in voiceover, and it's like, just due diligence, getting all the case study, taking all the notes, writing everything down. And then another pivotal point was 2011, I do believe, where I'm at work and I get a call up front. Hey, DC, you got to come to the front. Somebody want to talk to you. And I'm like, take a message. Like, she won't get off the phone. I was like, man, which one of these girls I'm messing with? Anyway, right. It was a lady, and I was like, please call me in the morning at this number, right? And it was a reporter from the New York Times, right? And all of this comes back to marketing, right? Because if you're going to have a company and you're going to call yourself a marketer, you know, people got to find you. Mm-hmm. And she called me, she's like, DC, have you heard of the Gawker article? I'm like, what? She's like, Gawker just wrote an article that Barack Obama was in your music video. And the world's going crazy. And I'm like, how did you find me? And she was like, it was very, very hard, but I found you. And then she told everybody else, and now I'm CNN, NBC, ABC. Like, we did a whole week of press, right? Mm-hmm. But I was pissed because it was like, I wasn't prepared, right? I didn't have no web presence. Everybody's starting social media. I'm just trying to, I slipped on that one because I couldn't take advantage of it, and I lost money.
Well, it's not that on you. It's a reason.
I vowed that would never happen again. And that's what started my SEO career, mm-hmm. right? And I learned how to build websites, and I learned SEO. And 10 years ago, you type in tag team, it was all wrestling. You type in tag team today, it is all tag team. Mm-hmm. You have to be found, right? So 2012, the lawsuit is winding down, and the company that took it out of bankruptcy loses. And then they start appealing. And then their final appeal was to the Supreme Court. Can you imagine if the Supreme Court, you would have been listening to, like, Supreme Court takes on the tag team, whoop, there it is case. That just would have been bananas, but they're like, get that out of here. We're not doing that, right? And it was over. And that's about 2015. I retired from DJing because I didn't want to be a 50-year-old DJ, right? But at the same time, I was like, I want to do shows. And this is, I said, well, start calling all the booking agents. Please let me be on your roster. I don't want to just let me be on your roster so people will see that we're doing shows. And they're like, no, because you only got one record, and what have you done for me lately? And you only got one record, and you're a one-hit wonder, and you're this, and they gave me every reason why they shouldn't instead of one reason why they should. Mm-hmm. And then this is another learn how to learn, tactical, reversal that I put together. Every time I hit a wall now, I join an organization, because organizations and societies are filled with people, professionals, masters, who have been doing this for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And they're there to make their profession better. And if you come into their profession, pay their dues, they're going to teach you everything you know. And I joined the International Entertainment Buyers Association. And you know the hierarchy. You have the buyers, then you have the venues, which are the stadiums and the arenas and whatnot. Then you have the big time promoters, which is Live Nation. Then you have your mom and pops, and then you have your managers, and then you have the artists. I effectively cut out everybody in the middle by going to their convention with a big "Whoop, there it is" t-shirt on billboard. Me and Chubby Checker, the only black dudes out of 5,000 people in this conference.
Really?
It was amazing. Now I'm embellishing a little bit, but that's what
okay.
It felt like. No, I get it. We were the two that everybody was looking at, right? And we're standing by the body like, "Whoop, there it is," and Chubby Checker. But they see the "Whoop, there it is," and I introduce myself. My pitch is beautiful. My name is DC Glenn from Tag Team. You might remember the song "Whoop, there it is." Like, yeah, I remember "Whoop, there it is." Well, just out here networking, and we got a clean 90s nostalgic rap show, right? The fact that I said clean, everybody's interested now.
Yeah.
If I said we just got a rap show, everybody be like, they're thinking, oh man, the insurance and this, they're thinking every reason why they shouldn't. And now what I've done effectively is I've reversed the paradigm that the mom and pops were giving me. You're a one-hit wonder, you're only this, you're only that. And now I went to the buyers, and the buyer said, yep, I can slide you in here. I can slide you in there because I only need 10 minutes from you. I only need 15 minutes from you. You can just do Whoop. and I'll give you a bunch of money. So now I'm doing casinos, we're doing state fairs, we're doing charity events. Charity events are easy. That's all they want you to do is one song and they give you a big chunk. Fundraisers, political events. We're doing all these various different types that I forgot, I hadn't even known existed. Mm-hmm. We're doing stuff that tribute bands do, right? It's like every form of entertainment is all in this place and they're all the buyers. And now the whole industry knows me because they love me in that organization because every time they have a little mixer, I'm there. And I'm meeting people and I'm just being there. They know when there it is. So I'm using it to get shows.
How did you get Steve to jump on board with all of this stuff?
Steve do the other side. He do the music, right? Mm-hmm. And he knows that I've always been me and he's always been him. That's why it's tag team. Right. And if we need music stuff, then he's the man. Like right now, he's taking a master class that, that's going to be his business. He's just going to master mega hit records. Right. And mm-hmm. I'm like, I got to be, we're not making music no more because it left us. It left us in 2000. Right. But, we still compliment each other because that's my boy. We brothers. Right. So I'm going to do what I do and he's going to do what he do. And we just tag team is tag team because it's not really about tag team. It's about everything else. Right. Tag team takes care of itself. Mm-hmm. And me getting all the shit. Now we got shows and then one promoter, he just called me too. We stuck with him because he got us 15 shows on a tour, on a freestyle tour. Then we got on the I Love the 90s tour. Now everything that all these mama pops told me I couldn't be, I am in drove. Now instead of getting 5 shows a year where we were just doing NBA halftime shows, now I'm getting 30 shows a year, 40 shows a year. And then that right there changed everything. Now we're doing shows and then I am still doing voiceover. I'm working for Apple Radio. It gets better, but I still don't have mastery over it. And then after we had to go to court, it was our day, 2017. It's like, okay, here we go. Found a lawyer, gave him the stuff. Lawyer was like, whoa. They had all the discovery. They found 6-7 ways to skin a cat in those files. And we prevailed, right? Now it was war because we lost a leg, lost an arm, lost an eye. Don't have to wear an eye patch, but we're still alive and now we can go. And I suffered a depression out of this world. It was August 2017, I laid in bed for a month. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? But because I was prepared and been preparing, I got a call and said, DC, we got $10,000 voiceover gig for you. We like your voice. Come work for us. This big, tech company. And that just got me out of bed. I said, that's what I'm going to do, voiceover. And then I got an agent for my voiceover coach. So now voiceover is my main thing because I'm going on auditions all the time. And then I'm having a meeting at the People Store agency because that's my agency. And the president comes in. She's like, I like your face. Put him on camera. Now I'm an actor. And now I got to take acting classes and I got to take, still taking voiceover classes, headshots, all that. And that got good to me, man. I've been in class every day, 2 to 3 times a day, going to LA, coming to New York, anybody come to town, I'm at a workshop. And I did that, started booking. I did a lot of regional commercials. I did a lot of, I still wanted that national commercial. And I finally got a national commercial in January of 2020.
And what would that be?
Pizza Hut national commercial, right? But pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. And they canceled it because it was for March Madness. But I wasn't mad that I lost the money. I was happy that I got booked, right? Mm-hmm. And the pandemic stopped everybody in their tracks, right? And everybody, you had to reevaluate. And for me, it was like, are you hustling or are you working smarter? Are you driving the car or are you actually revving the engine, looking outside, not going anywhere because you're stuck in mud? Because a lot of people are that, right? And I said, what are you going to do? Like I was laying in bed and I was like, this. I can get up out of bed, come over here in my drawers and make money on this in a pandemic. because everything was, we're all in this together. You know what I mean? Every commercial was like that.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, so you can do voiceover, but you know what? You got to reinvent, because everybody kind of think of what you think. People who think they can do voiceover. So I reinvented, and everything I've ever done, I've recorded. So I got all these recordings of way back in 2009 of me on a voiceover class. And I organized them, and I went back to the first one, and it was heartbreaking because I had to listen to my 10 year ago self. I had to listen to me talk, and it was just cringeworthy. Then I had to listen to the first voiceover I did. It was like, oh my God. But then it was inspirational because the instructors that I thought weren't doing me right or end up being the best instructors in the game, because now I know the language because I'm an actor and I'm a voice artist, and I stuck with it. I was like, let me do this first one again. Let me do the first one I ever done over again, see what comes out. And when I did it, it was angelic because I had never had mastery over my voice. And that was the first time I had mastery over my voice. And then I just started booking. And then in April, I did 40 sessions, 2-hour sessions during March when everybody thought zombies was going to start eating them, right? And then I get a call from one of my acting coaches, hey, we're going to shoot a movie. I'm casting you. I'm like, cool, can you get to Nebraska? So I'm in Nebraska. I'm shooting my first movie, right? Then 2 months later, I shoot my second movie. Then I get a job from Publix as their voiceover guy for the the grocery store chain. And then I book a Tyler Perry House of Pain episode. And then here comes GEIKO. And all of this is important because it goes back to when I lost the money. I thought I lost money because of Barack Obama, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be found. GEIKO calls the tag team phone. I don't answer. But then they go online and they find my IMDb. Then they call my agent. My agent calls me, says, DC, you just booked a GEIKO commercial. I'm like, man, don't play with me. It's already bad. No, don't play with me. You know what I mean? I'm doing good, but don't, And it was like, no, you booked a GEIKO commercial. And I'm like, I didn't even audition for a GEIKO commercial. He's like, well, they want tag team. I was like, oh, forgot about tag team. And went back, checked my phone, and boom. And I let my agent make that deal, so I don't have to go get lawyers or anything. It actually was perfect. And that is the most lucrative deal that I've ever had in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And we made money off of Womb There It Is, but this right here turned out to be just bananas. And, everybody's like, were you happy you got a commercial? I was like, yeah, but now it's time to work, right? And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do shows. So it was like, because Salt and Pepper Star got theirs in 2014, and they toured all the way to the pandemic and stopped. That's 4 years. That's 5 years, 6 years of touring, right? Mm-hmm. And we weren't going to be able to do that. So I said, but you know what? I'm not going to be happy with a GEIKO commercial. I'm about to take these lemons, make me a lemonade corporation, then franchise it, then sell it, and make me $1 billion. That's what I'm about. That's my mindset. Mm-hmm. So as an actor, I started preparing for this commercial. And that's where the spin and scoop comes from. That's where the sprinkles come from. That's where all the little nuances in that commercial come from, because my acting approach changed back a year ago. That's why I got the Pizza Hut commercial, because I was frustrated that I wasn't booking. And then I was like, change my tactics, didn't give up. Then I booked. And now I go into a production meeting and I'm talking to the director. I said, I got some ideas. He's like, whatever you want to do, DC. I was like, trying to make a spin and scoop, but couldn't find anybody to fabricate it. So we won't have to do that. But I got some other things. Like, no, it'll be done tomorrow. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So I told him all my ideas. And that is why that commercial is so special to me. Because everything I wanted to do, we shot it. And I prepared for it. My hustle, my ingenuity, my tenacity. I had to make that commercial good. And I said, now we shot it, had a ball. I got to get a publicist. Same thing happened with when I said I want to do shows. Well, we're in a pandemic. We usually do a junket in New York and you round robin through all the reporters, and we just don't know what to do in a pandemic. And we never done a commercial, so usually a movie. I'm like, thank you. And what did I do? Learn how to learn 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
I went and joined the Public Relations Society of America, PRSA. 2 days in, I'm on a Zoom call with a CEO of this big PR firm because they do these little special, things for all the members.
Mm-hmm.
And I raised my hand, and I do my due diligence. I make sure I got press releases, the whole 9 things that I know what to do. But I knew the press release would work. But I'm like, do press releases still work? Because that's the only question I had. And they're like, well, what's it for? I was like, well, I'm kind of featured in a national GEIKO commercial called Scoop. There it is. I'm looking at the chat, and it's like, that's not him. Oh my God, it is him. I love that commercial. My kids love that commercial. And chat just blew up. I blew up the whole Zoom call.
I'm sure you did.
And the moderator is like, DC, we like to work with DC Club. He's new. That's a good question. We're going to talk about that GEIKO commercial after, but back to this question, are they relevant? And the guest was like, yes, because the whole last year's been doom and gloom. It's all been COVID.
Mm-hmm. So
you guys come with a good, feel-good story, making everybody enjoy talking about sprinkles and ice cream and, fluffy stuff. And I think that's going to work for you. Plus, everybody's run out of content, right? It's been a whole year where everything's been shut down, so movies can't be made. You can only watch so much Netflix, right? Everybody's tired. Everybody's worn down. Everybody's fighting with each other. It's just, you guys come with the feel-good. And you need to go here for all the podcasts. You need to go here for the journalists. You need to go to this site for all the TV shows. You need to get your pictures like this. You need to do this, 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 and that, and that. She gave me the game. 10 minutes. And I have not looked back. And it has opened my world to opportunities I could have never imagined. And it is the reason you and I are here talking today.
It's a beautiful thing. And that is one heck of a story. So I've got a handful of things that I want to ask you just real quickly. Number one, do you walk down the street and everybody does sprinkles to you?
Nobody knows who I am because I don't carry myself like that.
That's awesome.
And it's always been like that, even back in the Whoop days, because I don't act like a star because I worked in a club where I saw the stars come in and I saw them rise and I saw them fall. Mm-hmm. I saw them rise and treat people like crap. And then I saw them fall and those same people reveled in happiness at their demise.
Yes.
I vowed I'd never be like that. And my father pulled me to the side when Womb started. And he's like, look, I've been to, I'm going to tell you this, when I was young, I was, envy. All my friends would be in the streets and they had Cadillacs and, but I had to stay in school. My mom, she would not let me. She was like, boy, I'll kill you if you don't go to school, right? And I had to go to school and I stayed in school. And now I've got the Cadillacs and they ain't got nothing, right? And he said, the only reason I'm telling you this is because it's going to end. And when it ends, don't chase it. Don't chase that ghost, right? And I'm like, man, it ain't gonna end. I'm gonna make hit record after hit record after hit record. But then when it did happen, like he said, I remembered that. And I was always the same guy. I always treated people with respect. And then I could just fold back into society and everybody was still cool with me, right? Mm-hmm. And I've always been like that. So with the GEIKO thing, if it wasn't a pandemic, but it's a pandemic when we all got masks on. So don't nobody know who I am.
That's a good point. I never even thought about that.
I get to live my life and I get to enjoy this. And if I want to be a star, I can, but I do it in my way. I control it. And I've been blessed for it to be that way because I get to live my life and I love my life because nobody knows who I am.
Okay, so the two things I got from this interview, number one was you have basically reinvented yourself time after time after time, which is, I think, one of the most amazing things. And that is a tribute to you as a person. The other thing it shows is your authenticity and your integrity. Those are just huge. Mm. So I want to offer this one last idea before we finish up today. And you could take it for what it's worth. You could laugh at it. You could throw it away. But you know that the average American eats about 23 pounds of ice cream a year, right? Okay. But there are 215 million households with dogs. The average dog poops about, pound a day, right? And when I saw the commercial, I was, it was just great. But then I'm out in my backyard when the snow's melting here in Chicago. And of course, my dog left all these piles. And I'm just walking around the yard going, poop, there it is. Poop, there it is. And I've spoken at pooper scooper conventions. Believe it or not, there's an association for that too.
Yeah.
So I think you got a future in the pet industry too, man.
But we did the poop with the Huggies commercial.
Yeah, I remember the who. Yeah, but
yeah. So
yeah.
every rhyme, the thing that rhymes with won't has been kind of done.
I forgot the Huggies.
Yeah, you got the Huggies commercial.
But see, I was thinking that I don't have babies, man. I got a dog.
I know. But like I said, this has opened doors for me that I can't even talk to you about because I'm under 5 non-disclosure degrees.
Sure, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there are things that are in the works that it's going to, when we talk from a year now, you're going to be like, oh my God, you sat here and told me. And I could never imagine that it would be that.
Right.
And it is, my whole existence, right? Like, I look at things differently, right? I don't see my hustle as a quid pro quo. If I do this, I got to have that. I just play offense and I just keep shooting. I keep going forward, right? Because you don't plant a seed, then sit down and cross your legs and be like, okay, seed, I need you to grow. I want to see you grow right now. I want to see, please grow right now. Man, this seed don't even work. I quit. It don't work like that. But that's how people act. I mean, people that just want that instant gratification.
Just about everybody.
It doesn't work like that, right? You have to keep going. And if you can get your mind under control like that, all those seeds that I've laid, all the little stories that I've told you where I strung the last 25 years together, seeds were laid.
Yeah.
And especially recently. And now I'm standing in a forest of opportunity I could have never imagined, right? And now only thing I have to do is be prepared. And part of preparation is having control of your emotions, not listening, like people, I love to be wrong, right? Because one, when you admit that you're wrong quickly, it sequesters your ego and your pride. It hurts, but it sequesters your ego and your pride. And it's the path to being right. Always. And people will argue up and down you. I just let them argue. Okay. Because they're going to do everything they can to win that argument. And they're going to be stuck where they're at while you admitted you were wrong. Even if you aren't wrong, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. And you know what you know. And then you probably get more ideas of what to do just from that. You're looking at it a different way. You're looking at it as, okay, what can I get from this conversation? Right? Or like, here's another beautiful byproduct of all of this GEIKO stuff is that a corporate friend of mine, he's like, I wonder how much they playing that. He's thinking in corporate numbers. I wonder he's like, you need to get the data. I was like, get the data? He's like, you need to get the data, man. I was like, I'm not about to ask GEIKO for no data. I can ruin my relationship with them by, give me the data. No. Now, I might have reacted viscerally, but I was listening. And I said, well, I can't get the data from GEIKO. GEIKO got to get the data from somebody. And then I start calling Nielsen, iSpot TV, all these companies. And now I'm on Zoom boardrooms with Nielsen, and they're telling me everything I need to do. I'm on iSpot TV. They're like, we already got the data for you. And we're not even going to charge you. We want to do an interview with you because we've never heard of an artist asking for their value proposition. Like, yeah, I want to know my value proposition. So if I go into another meeting with another company and they say, well, you only got this and you got that, bam, this is what I got.
Right.
These were the conversions. This is how many times it was played. This was the happy index. This is how many times we were wound on DVR. This is how many times we made this. This is how many times we made that. Give me my money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is so outside the box.
Well, it is.
Why you have to listen.
It's marketing 101, though. I mean, everything is about data, and that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Yep. And, like I said, I have acquired the ability to take any negative emotion, fear, anger, happiness, or just negative, envy, suffering, and put it in my pocket and use it for later. That's how I get through auditions now, right? I can, if I got something where I have to be angry Well, I don't have to try to be angry. I can go back to what I kept in my pocket that I got 2 weeks ago. And then now, instead of me trying to be a character or a caricature, character becomes me, and it's authentic, right? And then that's where actors become believable, or voice artists become believable, because you can put yourself back in that place, right? And, you know, I love all these little tactics because they work. At least they've been working lately. You know what I mean? Like they really work, and it keeps your mind focused ahead. And only thing I have control over is what I do, and I choose to be prepared. So now I've got tutors for everything. Like what I tell you at the beginning, I don't want to leave this earth regretting I didn't do something. So you asked me, am I making music again? Yeah, I use Studio One DAW. For those who don't know what a DAW is, that's the program, musical program like Pro Tools that you use to make music. I have the engineer who built the program tutoring me every Tuesday. Greg, Germany. You see what I'm saying? And all I did was ask, can you please help me out and tutor me? I'll pay you. And he's like, yeah, I'll tutor you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then music, there's a site called Wyzant, WYZANT.com. After teachers in the pandemic went back to school, half the teachers said, I'm not going back to school with them nasty ass kids, right? And a lot of them retired. And what they did, they went to all the tutor sites. So now in that class where they might be making $60, $70, $80 a day, they're making that an hour all day long, teaching the same kids that they would have been teaching there in the comfort of their own home, because their parents all know that teacher. Their parents don't know how good that teacher was, and now he's on the site, and they can pay the money for their kid to get the education. Because I was on a Zoom call with a career day at a school yesterday, and I can tell you that is not the way. That is not the way. But it's the only way right now.
Right.
And people ask me, if you had an advice for people, what do you give them? I said, man, a high school friend of mine said, we want to do something for the kids this year in our high school. What would you tell your high school self? And I'd be like, join an organization as quickly as you can. Whatever it is you want to do, join an organization and jump deep in, because you can get a college education in 2 weeks. Then you got to put in the work. But you can know everything about that organization because they're going to tell you, right? And if they tell you, like I'm telling you, in the form of a story where you're riveted and you're taking notes, you're learning. And all you had to do is join the organization. Then you know if it's good, it's for you or not. And you don't waste 2-3 years, because some people aren't going to go to college just because they can't, not because they don't want to, right? People who go to college, get your education, but you still can, I kind of want to do real estate. You don't got to major in real estate, but you can go join an organization and learn what to do to get your real estate lot. That's what I wish I would have done, right? I wish I had joined the real estate back when I was 18. Then in your
spare time, dude. I mean, how much you've done so much in your life, and you've gotten so much out of that.
This is my spare time, though.
Yeah, I know.
But all that is up to interpretation.
Yeah,
like we're having a conversation, right? This is just like we was on the phone talking to each other. We're having a conversation, and because you've allowed me to sit here and talk to you and your audience, I've learned so much more. I've figured things out. I've come up with different tactics. Like everybody's sitting around waiting for it to be the way it used to be. And if you're sitting around waiting for it to be the way it used to be, you're going to be sitting around waiting for it to be the way it used to be. I'm standing in front of a frontier of everything new. Everything now is custom. Gregor, I say, I got to work. So he's not trying to teach me the way he wants to teach me. He's teaching me according to what I got to do every day. I got to do voiceover auditions. I got to do acting auditions. Okay, I got to cut this for NASCAR, right? I get to get sound right. Okay, cool. We work on that. Now I'm learning more because it's custom for my life. That means it's really getting into me. It's a part of me now, as opposed to me having to, okay, so how do I do that? And how do I do this? You'll figure that out when you can apply it to what you're working on that you've been working on all your life, right? So last week I started making beats. He taught me how to make beats, but I couldn't get back to it because I had real life to deal with, right? But now I can make beats again, and it's not going to take long for me to make songs again. And if I make songs again, I'm an actor, so I'm auditioning now for Christmas movies. I make 5 Christmas songs and submit them to every movie I'm auditioning for. Not only am I in the movie, but I got a Christmas song in the movie. If the Christmas song is in the movie that's halfway decent, I got another pension plan.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? You got because everybody's like jack of all trades, master of none. DC, your tentacles are like this, but over time, you become masterful in some of those things, and it becomes one, and they all serve each other. It's a toolbox.
Yes. All I could say, man, is you're like an onion, man. Every time you peel back another piece, it just gets tastier and tastier. And tastier.
Use that. But see, I learned, and see, when I use everything, right today, I've got 4 more of these. Right?
Yeah.
And because I guy who's a anchor for NASCAR, because I just said thank you for the comment. Say, hey man, be on the podcast tonight at 9:30. I'm gonna be tired because I got an audition in between 7 and 9, but I'm gonna do it because who knows where that's gonna lead? Who knows where that? I mean, think about we're in a new frontier. You can build your own custom road, right? And it's yours. And you can make your dreams come true on that road. You could build another lane and another lane and another lane. Now you got a highway, right? And it take you anywhere you want to go because it's you, it's your custom. Everything is different now. Some of the traditional things still apply, but if you're not thinking new, man, come on now. It's there for you if you want it. So you can go, my life is littered with missed opportunities. And I'm going back, and you can do something about those missed opportunities, right?
Yep.
Like I taught Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse how to rap. We did a Disney record, Mickey on Rap. I'm in the bowels of Disney with the voices of Mickey Mouse. That's what started my voiceover career. But I didn't pull the trigger for 15 years. I lost that opportunity back then. Right? Now, I'm about to get in front of Jon Favreau and Dave Leone. I just finished my animation denim. I'm trying to be in Star Wars and The Mandalorian live action or animation. See, I can make up for that opportunity missed, right? Acting. I sat in the office of New Line Cinema president. And he was like, yeah, man, you got the perfect look. We might want to cast you for Blade. Right now it's between LL Cool J and Wesley Snipes, but we'd like to cast you for it. I'm like, cool, I'll cast. Didn't know nothing. Didn't even try. And then nothing ever happened. I missed that opportunity. I was in the office of the president of New Line Cinema when they were brand new. Right?
It's amazing.
And now I just shot 2 movies during the pandemic, and I'm auditioning 5-6 times a day. Just a matter of time. Right?
It is.
I made that opportunity come back to life. There are no wasted opportunities if you correct them. You gotta correct your mistakes, man. Think about it. I could have gave up and been old and bitter after the lawsuit, but I didn't. I kept grinding with Whoop There It Is, and now it's evergreen. And now we got it's like it didn't even happen because I got a GEIKO commercial. I'll be remembered forever for Whoop There It Is and a GEIKO commercial and anything else I do in the future. Because I didn't give up, I hustled, I played offense, I kept it moving, right? And everybody's looking at me like, just do this. But I tell you, it's just me. My parents, I owe all my parents because my parents made me work. My mother had me stemming greens and shucking peas she had a prep cook at 5 years old. Father made me shovel snow. They made me do everything, me and my brother. And I'm so grateful for it because I don't fear work. Then they put stipulations with it. We're going to give you $5 a week. Everybody got allowance back then, but then it was like, but there's going to be consequences. And we're going to let you keep your money, but we're going to hurt you in other ways. Don't do this. You can go play with your friends. Oh, you want to go to church? You can't go play football. Oh, you don't want to clean your room? Okay, well, you can't watch TV tonight. Now, you think you're a little man and you can withstand some of that, but then it's very painful. And you learn to enjoy work. And then all of a sudden, you got a blizzard. Only family, you can appreciate this. I'm from Denver, Colorado. We had a big blizzard. We're the only family on the block that has a snowblower. We do ours about 20 minutes because there's nothing with a snowblower. Then Mr. Grant's next door struggling. Hey, Mr. Grant, we got you. He was like, man, we just keep going. Do the whole block. Did the whole block. The next 2 weeks, hey boy, come here. Coming home from school.
Oh yeah.
It's $30, man. I appreciate you doing my snow. $30? Only getting $5 a week for my parents. That's when the hustler was born.
Exactly. Yes.
And I had a paper route. Then I worked at Dolly Madison Ice Cream. Then I worked as an AV assistant. Then this is all my teens.
Right. Oh,
I don't fear work. If everything went that bad and I had to go and get a real job, I'd go get a real job because I don't fear work. And that is me. So, I gotta go, man. Because
I know it's a beautiful thing. But if people wanted to get a hold of you, how could they do that? What's the best way for them?
Because I leave good breadcrumbs, because I know SEO, because I've set it up that way. Anything you type in about me, DC Tag Team, boom, there it is. You're gonna find me. It's that simple.
Man, this has been amazing. It's been inspiring. What a great time. I'm so honored to have you on, man. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, dude. And keep rocking it, baby.
And thank you for having me, man. This was very good for me. I promise you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, take care, bud.
All right, bye.
Thank you for letting us sprinkle some bacon bits into your brains. Want some more? Learn more about this podcast and our guest experts at baconpodcast.com. Have questions? Send them to askbrian@baconpodcast.com. Until next time, keep sizzling. And remember, it's all about the bacon.
Well, that, my friends, is the live broadcast special. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, baconpodcast.com. If you want to go back and listen to it, you can either watch the replay of this live, you can find it on YouTube, and you can find it on the Bacon Podcast, because it's sitting over there too. So go to baconpodcast.com. You'll be able to listen to it in your earballs, or you can watch it if you'd like that. Again, I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat window, and I'll give it a minute, but I'm not seeing anything. But again, I appreciate y'all watching, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central Time with a great guest, Doreen Petty. We're going to be talking about HR and business, and she's got some awesome stories. She goes way back with me, back to my old AT&T days. So we have a lot to discuss. I think you'll enjoy it. So catch us tomorrow morning on LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, and YouTube at Bacon and Coffee. So we will see you guys then. Have a great one. I appreciate you, your time, and attention. Thank you.